Hey Starfinders, it's me, Logar the Ogre, the GM, the producer of Dead Sundays, the show where we play Starfinder on a Sunday. Currently, I am in my room recording the intro to episode 2 of season 2, and I forgot that it is July 3rd, and the city that I live in the summer, whenever the sun goes down, people immediately start lighting off fireworks in every corner of every neighborhood in the city that I live in. So if you hear some of that in the background, I apologize. On that note, unfortunately, the episode that you're about to watch, as well as the episode that's coming out next week, has audio issues. It was not recorded under ideal circumstances because I was using NVIDIA Broadcast to take the noise out of my microphone, which was also broken. So I've got 3 episodes where my microphone was shorting out, and I also have 3 episodes where everybody else's audio was being interfered with from this NVIDIA Broadcast software that was destroying my attempts at recording a good show. So, episode 2 starts on the bridge of the Spacewave Maiden, directly at the end of episode 1. At the end of episode 1, the Fearful Symmetry rammed the Spacewave Maiden and activated its self-destruct. So we see the aftermath of the quarrel with the Azlanti Aeon. It's Aeon? We see the aftermath of the quarrel with the Azlanti Star Empire. This video should be going up on July 5th, and I have big news. On July 9th, which would be our next live show appearance, we are going to be streaming to both YouTube and Twitch. I have it set up, and it should work properly. I have tested it. Everything should go well, but we know I had tested my microphone before, so we'll see how that works out. But if you can, you're more than welcome to join us in our live recordings. You can come in, ask us questions about Starfinder, about our history, about the characters, and you're always welcome to go back and listen to the recap videos that take about 100 hours of tabletop RPG Starfinder gameplay and condense it into under 4 hours. Do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and then I want you to call your kindergarten teacher from the grade school that you went to, elementary school, primary school, whatever you call it, your kindergarten teacher, whatever in between preschool and first grade, and I want you to email them a copy of my resume. And then they will say, what is this? And then you will say, this is Logar the Ogre. He is the host of Dead Sundays, the show where we play Starfinder on a Sunday. And they will then check out our show, and everybody will have a good time.
History is broken. All recorded knowledge more than 300 years old has been corrupted. The Starfinder Society is recruiting outsiders to unravel the mysteries of what happened. Unlikely heroes must learn to work together to stay alive, where technology and magic exist together among the stars. Dead Sundays, most Sundays at 7 p.m., only on twitch.tv/Logar the Ogre. The past haunts us all.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dead Sundays. Dead Sundays is the show where we play Starfinder on a Sunday.
I'm talking about sushi. Sushi
Talk about
fries.
sushi. We also
Dead
we
Sunday.
Central
Dead Sunday.
South.
It's what's
Dead sushi.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of rearranging to do right now. Our friend Ryan may or may not be joining us tonight. He plays Pax Duro.
He's on island time.
He's on island time. And you know the thing about island time is that there's only internet certain times on island time. So he's got to get to the internet before he can join us. And even if he doesn't, we hope he has a great time because, you know, you can just...
We all wish we were on an island.
Let's play Starfinder. Do you guys remember the last thing that happened before we ended the show?
A little bit, kind of.
Why don't you tell me, since actually you were the one that was closest to being in control of the situation. Why don't you tell me how that ended?
If I recall correctly, the enemy ship engaged its self-destruct button and then just rammed into us. And then exploded.
That is
And then
exactly
exploded.
what happened.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
at the end of what was a very exciting starship fight between the two of you, you decimated the Fearful Symmetry. I think they maybe got like 7 hit point damage on you, hull point damage, whereas you brought them to at least 3. And when they were below 10, they were supposed to activate their self-destruct and get as close to you as possible. They have to be next to you in order to do any kind of damage, and they accomplish that. And you guys could not blow them up before they got to you.
Because we were next to them.
When a spaceship reaches 0 hull points, it is considered disabled. Once it reaches negative of its maximum, like so if it has 65, it reaches negative 65, then it's destroyed. But most fights stop at 0 hit points, and this allows, it's really a game mechanic, it allows the players to not die and be caught in deep space in a disabled ship, because you can perform repairs to some extent. The Fearful Symmetry rode up next to you and activated its self-destruct. When a starship activates its self-destruct module, it deals damage equal to half of its maximum hit points. So I've added the starships, the Fearful Symmetry sheet into all of your items.
Mm-hmm.
Actors. It's in actors. Just to give you guys an idea of what their ship looked like. They had 65 hit points, which means that you guys are going to be taking 33 when it explodes. That will be mitigated by your shields. So at the end of this fight, the Fearful Symmetry rolls up to the starboard side of the Spacewave Maiden. I'm sorry, it rolls up to the port side of the Spacewave Maiden, which is where you unfortunately had the least amount of shield points. You hear a sudden alarm, and then it explodes.
I heard that.
Yep.
The Spacewave Maiden on its port side is going to take 33 damage. This is going to be mitigated by the shields that you have.
22.
And the reason that we didn't do this at the end of last episode was because I didn't know what would happen if a starship exploded. But in the core rulebook, there is a self-destruct module that says it does damage equal to half of your maximum.
Why do we even have that button?
So you guys were at 58 hull points because you had taken 7 damage. And you're going to take an additional 22. Which, unfortunately, means that you pass 2 critical thresholds on the way down.
Oh, yeah.
So, it is your ship. Captain Zib Beveridge, could you please roll me a D100?
Uh,
A 64 is your engines. So your engines have gone from nominal to glitching. And then Zib Beveridge, if you could then give me another D100 roll. 13, which is your life support systems.
Yikes.
So,
I mean, it's a table. We don't know what
Yeah.
that is. That could be fine.
so
Life support systems are even better now for some reason.
yeah,
We had
they're actually more efficient.
We had them set to mid.
Yeah, they're more efficient because they were spending all that energy filtering stuff out before. Now it's just pure oxygen all the time.
And now it
We're
smells
high
like
as
a car
shit.
air. Now it smells like a car air freshener.
I was going to say, Zip Beverage grows to 300 times their size. Your oxygen.
Oh no, the effects on bugs. We never checked. So your sensors or your life support is glitching and your engines are glitching. Glitching means that a system isn't operating at peak performance. Crew actions involving the system, except the hold it together and patch engineer actions, take a -2 penalty. What does that mean? Technically nothing.
Because we get it, yeah, it's like a -2 whenever we need to check a system, right?
Yeah, there really is. Even though you guys have taken a large amount of damage in a very quick amount of time, the glitching in your systems is, I don't want to say it's normal because it's glitching, but it is not the disaster that a self-destructing spaceship ramming yours would have seemed to be in the first place.
Raj rolls up his sleeves because he's really excited to be able to work on the ship now.
So, it's interesting that you say that. Because Jimothy Tibula jumps down from his engineering seat, which is stacked on top of another engineering seat, which is then stacked on one of Absalom Station's phone books. His feet click-clack on the bridge of the Spacewave Maiden, and he makes the motion of rolling up his sleeves, but they fall right back down because he has no muscles because he's a skeleton boy.
He's just wearing a big blue puffer jacket and a hoodie,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
He's wearing one of those oversized Hornets basketball jackets that they used to have in the 90s. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, hell
The
yeah.
starter jackets. Yeah.
You didn't picture a Sans Undertale in a starter jacket now?
Sans Undertale and a Fubu.
You can remove the critical damage condition from a system by taking 10 minutes and succeeding at an engineering check. The DC depends on the severity of the condition. For you guys, it is only a 15, since it is only glitching. You guys can do that now, if you like. Also, you could just continue on your journey as well.
Yeah, you know what? I think it would probably be prudent if me and Timothy Tibula. Jimothy Tibula.
Yep, sorry.
Jimothy Tibula and I, get working on this.
So you can either ask him to fix one of them, or ask him to assist you in fixing one of them, because he seems pretty stoked about helping you guys.
Hey kid, how about you hold some wrenches for your pal, old Raj?
Oh, which one of you is old Raj?
Oh, it's me. I think I do that.
Oh. He looks at Zib, and then looks back at Raj, and then looks at Zib.
Yeah, help him. I don't know. You're your own person.
Oh, okay.
You're a 100-year-old being. You can make your own choices.
Actually, I'm a little bit older than that, but okay. And so the two of you go off to fix the glitching systems in the back of your spaceship. We'll say that in order to really repair them, you have to go to where the thing is. So
Okay.
since I've already forgotten what they were: life support and engines. Both of those are in the back of the ship.
Yeah, I think you only said life support, but that's good to know. All right, so let's honestly probably want to fix life support first. So
Jimothy is going to attempt his aid check, and then you will get a bonus if he can aid you, which is a good question on how that works. While Jimothy and Horatio are in the back fixing the glitching systems, Zib, Clara, Pax, and technically Shepard are on the bridge. Do you guys want to do anything specific?
Nah.
I feel like when they're working on the engines, you know how when you're fixing or doing something with your car and one person needs to like sit there and turn the keys and see if the engine's turning over. I think that's probably what Claire is doing.
Okay, so we're all there fixing it together.
checking to see if everybody's alive. Are you approximating like respiration?
Yeah, because Clara, who does not breathe, is
It's like-
testing how well.
She's like
the
breathing really
density of the
heavily
air.
and loudly just to see if she can, and she's not. But she's making sounds that approximate breathing.
So Jimothy Tibula is holding all of these tools for Raj. Raj, he has passed his aid check. You will get a +2 to fixing the glitching machinery.
Okay, great. Yeah, what am I looking at then? How am I gonna fix all this?
You're gonna fix the life support systems. The life support, a lot of we'll just say it's kind of like it's like two vacuums that are plugged together, and one vacuum sucks and one vacuum blows, and some of the tubes in the vacuums are kind of cut. So you got to fix that. That's how life support works.
Makes
And
sense to me.
There's also a magic
Oh,
spell
we've got
involved.
this suck set to blow. That's what I was gonna say.
You've got it set to Wumbo.
Oh, there's your problem. It's first grade, SpongeBob. So you and Jimothy's holding all these tools, and he has given you an aid of +2. Please make an engineering check to fix the vacuums that facilitate your life support.
I just click the book.
Go to your character sheet and click engineering. That should be
Oh
it.
no, here we go.
The word should be it.
I was
Nice.
I was clicking the thing next to it, and it was like bringing up the thing.
So, you and Jimothy working together, you kind of try to do this thing where you try to like stunt on him a little, but like you try to impress Jimothy with your knowledge of all the different tools that you have and the way you fix something, and you say something very specific about the tool you're going to use to fix the life support system. You say, "Can I please have?" And then the name of this very esoteric, very specific tool, and Jimothy goes, "Yeah," and he hands it to you, and you are extremely surprised that he has this very specific knowledge of these engineering tools.
I just said space wrench, like I'm saying tool, but adding space to make it. Space screwdriver.
Oh, not a lot of people know what that is, huh? Such a smart young man. And then we're going to go over and we're going to fix, which is in the same room. That back room of the Spacewave Maiden contains the power core and the life support, the engines, the gravity, all those things. They're all in the same room, for better or worse. You're also going to have to fix the engines. The engines are kind of like you open up the panel, and inside of it is like 2 vacuums, and they're both set to blow. And one of the tubes is a little cut, so you're gonna have to fix that. So Jimothy's gonna try to help you with that.
Okay.
And Jimothy succeeds in trying to help you with that. So please roll a engineering check for trying to fix the vacuums that only blow that power the engines. Okay, perfect. You rolled a 22. You point to something in the engine compartment and you call it by a name that Jimothy then corrects you on what it is actually called. And you realize that Jimothy may have... Well, you kind of put together that he's got nothing but time. So he has a very deep knowledge of a lot of different things. But it seems that computers and engineering are kind of his thing. As well as also being able to cast a certain amount of mysticism spells, which is why you contacted him in the first place.
I start asking Jimothy what he thinks about Sonic the Skittermander.
Well, I don't know. I kind of like I kind of like Darkness, his older brother, better. I feel like I just identify with him more. I don't really, I mean, like Sonic's cool and everything, but like I think that like if you really look at like the character of Darkness and like what happens with the entropy shards and how he gathers them all together, and when he goes to fight Dr. Android. I just feel like those things set him apart from his blue counterpart. I think it's great, but I like the spin-off series of Darkness better.
I respect that. I can respect that. Okay.
That was all I know about Sonic, was those 4 things. You got all of it at once. So with the ship fixed, the 2 of you go back to the bridge, and you now have a fair amount of free time before you are going to arrive at the place that you are going. When you were on Eox, you had fought you had fought Ziravesh, who had a piece of information that you needed, the location of a lead on something called the Stellar Degenerator, which was a super weapon of galactic proportion. You had tried to find your way from the cultist base on the asteroid, realized that the information had been stolen by the Corpse Fleet. You then chased the Corpse Fleet, you found the Corpse Fleet, you beat the Corpse Fleet, and now you're on your way to a system called Negior, which has never been contacted before. So in the time that passes, you guys... if you guys have any questions for Jimothy or for Shepard, or about anything that happened beforehand...
Jimothy, why are you here?
Well,
Why
Great
did you
question.
make this decision?
Well, so here's the thing. I couldn't ask because if I had asked if I could come with you, you would have said no.
Fair.
Okay.
I mean, collectively, probably. Me, I don't know.
And he says, "Well, that makes me feel really good because I've been a huge fan of all of your adventures since the Drift Rock. I really thought that this would be a great chance for me to get out there and use a lot of my knowledge. I didn't technically ask permission to come. I thought of a kind of a clever way to get myself onto the ship. So Shepard had asked me to help him back up his brain, and I was supposed to cast a protection spell on the data disk, which you got. And in addition to, I also cast a spell on the data drive that when something would be plugged into it, specifically Shepard's brain, it would cast a spell through a spell chip that I uploaded that would summon me specifically.
Huh.
Permanently to wherever I was. It's more like a teleportation spell, but also summoning.
Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of, because like teleportation, like you have to have like a point A and point B to swap either way, and like summoning, you just pull from like one place to another.
We all know how it works.
Right, I'm sorry. I should have to explain this to you. You're right. I'm sorry. Right, you're the captain. You should know these things. So
yeah, I'm teleporting all over the place.
Once
Famously.
Once I learned that that Shepard was going to go fight with you guys, or was captured, or I'm not exactly sure what happened there. He said
me neither. It's fine. The details are hazy.
He had found some kind of something about the corpse fleet. Who I'm totally not with those guys, by the way. Totally no.
Clara narrows her eyes at Jimothy.
No, not me, man. Not that. I love alive people. Well, I mean, I can't. Well, it's a long story.
Oh, we got time.
We got a couple days.
Oh, okay. Well, and he gets like nervous, and he starts like he clicks his fingers together, and he's. So I also decided that instead of clearing his throat, he makes like a click clack sound to kind of like center himself.
Oh, that's
so he makes this like click clack sound with his mouth, and he's like, well, you know how I said the first time that we were or that I couldn't come help you guys until I was done class or something. And what I meant by or something was I had a final project that I was working on. And I actually don't have any classes left. And it was the last one. It was also the last one because it was the end of... I took all the classes that I wanted to take. Like, ever. Because I have nothing but time. So... in order to fill all that time, I decided to go to college, and I worked my way through. I don't have any expenses. I mean, I live forever, because a really long time ago, my dad and I came to Eox, and he was working at a factory where they made flesh and stuff. And eventually he was going to make himself into an undead, and then I was going to live my life, and then he was going to, or then maybe one day I would become an undead too. But that was going to be like my decision. So he worked his way up to affording the procedure, and then I got really sick, and instead of him doing the procedure on himself, they decided to do it on me instead.
Where's your dad now?
There's a long pause, And he said, Horatio, this was 150 years ago.
Oh. I'm sorry, kid.
So, because of that, I'm like really good at a lot of different kinds of things, but I really don't have anything to do. So when I saw the opportunity to come with you guys, whether or not it was actually telling the truth or not, I decided that I was going to take it. And I did.
Interest rate on your student loans if you went to college.
There were no
My dad died. What are your interest rates?
I'm just curious, like, how they figure that out when you're, like, undead. Like, you just give...
And he's just like, no, you don't understand. I didn't take any loans. I had the inheritance, what was left from my dad, and then I worked at the college because I literally had nothing but time. Like, I just worked there, and then I would save up enough money to take a class, and then I would just repeat that until I did it enough times that I was satisfied with what I learned. And I took pretty much every class. And it says, yeah. So anyway, after I did the radiation thing for you guys, then I was hanging out with Shepard. Me and Shepard got along really well, and he asked for my help. I gave him my help. Whatever happened to that other lady that was on the ship?
Clara's eyes narrow again.
Sometimes people that are your friend are sort of the targets of bullying, and there's no one to blame, per se.
Jen.
I mean, I blame Jin for shooting at us, but sometimes your friends don't stay your friends. Sometimes your friends aren't your friends. Sometimes a police officer stays a police officer. And I'll tell you something, Jimothy, police officers are not your friends. I hope that made sense.
Kinda. Pretty much, yeah. Okay. But yeah, so, you're like 4 days into your journey, so, I mean, it really sucked to have to turn around and drive me back to where I was. Also, it was a one-way spell.
Yeah,
So,
I mean...
Are you afraid we're going to kick you off? Because this kid knows a lot about...
Yeah. Captain, we have talked about how having a ship mascot might be good for morale.
I don't think I want the oldest member of the ship being known as a mascot, but...
Well, it's either that or a space guinea pig.
So Jimothy, like, perks up, and you can like, hear, like, he's so excited that you can hear his, like, toes clacking on the ground, and he's like, you called me a member of the spaceship, not a guest.
Yeah, you're staying on the ship. As someone who's not undead and doesn't know how to do anything good, might be useful to have someone who's old and skilled.
So I am going to give you guys access to observer access to Jimothy's sheet. You guys should be able to see him in NPCs, and that will give you an idea. Oops, wrong one. Of what he is actually good at, and what kind of spells he has. I bent a couple of the rules for Jimothy. I don't know what the. I gave him spells that aren't necessarily in the Mystic Toolkit without giving him the feats for it, because he's just been around for so fucking long that he just has access to pretty much whatever he wants. Also, because he is very, very, very good at fixing things, both organic and inorganic. That was kind of his whole focus, was to learn how to fix things. Mostly people, though. Mostly with the idea of fixing sentient creatures, whether they be robots or androids or bugs.
He's like a skeleton Bob the Builder.
Sure.
We need to see him.
No, let him have it.
Jimothy, what do you eat? to eat scraps. Like, I don't
Well,
skeleton see.
he gets like nervous again because he's like looking at you mostly, Horatio, and he's like, well, I mean, I like flesh. I mean, I like humanoid flesh. I don't like need it, but when it's, if you were to give me like a bag of it, I mean, yeah, I'd eat it.
Raj rolls his sleeves down.
And he's like, I'm not. This isn't like me telling you. I'm just saying that. That's what we eat sometimes. But mostly we don't have to eat. Because I'm a skeleton.
I don't eat much either, but that's just because I don't have taste receptors, so it's rather boring to me. Except for hot sauce.
Well, you have to make it exciting. So.
What about chili dogs? You both eat chili dogs? Like, that has hot sauce in it.
I have never been offered a chili dog, so I wouldn't say no to it. However, I have an
We're
odd
having
feeling.
a big family meal.
So the five of you walk your way.
Famous chili dog.
Walk your way to the galley of Spacewave Maiden, and Captain Zib Beverage decides to make 5 chili dogs. Zib's special dogs is what they call them. What is
spelled DAWGS?
I got
Yes.
that dog in me.
Yeah, it's
And
actually
you're about to have it, didn't you too?
It's 2 D's and then AWGS. 2 D's
Zip
for
is
a
sort
double dose
Zip
of
is-
delicious.
Zip is a famous glizzy gladiator across the galaxy.
I hate it here.
So that scene of you guys getting closer with Jimothy Tibula ends with the 5 of you in the galley scarfing down chili dogs. More specifically, Zib Beverage's special double chili dogs. Zib calls them dogs.
The dogs. Everyone very quickly is horrified to remember that Zib does have to spit on their food before dissolving it in their maw.
I think they're used to it at this point. Jimothy isn't.
Pax is just snapping them in half, dipping them in water.
You make one for Pax that is the size of like a Galarian turkey. It is this big. You can only describe it as a boat. It is a dog boat. So over the course of the next several days, you continue flying and navigating through the drift. So your shields will not immediately. Your shields will recharge themselves as long as they're plugged in.
Mhm.
As long as they are attached to a active power supply, your shields will regen. Your hull points, however, will have to be addressed once you actually land.
Yeah, I figured we'll probably need to actually dock and pay for physical repairs because I can only do. Raj can fix things up to one bulk, like constructs, so I could do it piece by piece, but it takes a while, so it's probably a lot more efficient if we just.
So-
you think we're gonna dock in an uncontacted civilization?
I wasn't gonna say anything. But no, that's a good point. No, both of you are right. It is not outside of the realm of possible ideas that going to an uncontacted. Oh crap! You guys are all out of order again. I'm gonna put you back the way we were. The place that you go could just as likely have a spaceport as it could just be the middle of the jungle. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
Repairing.
Do we have? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Do we have obviously it's uncontacted, but does that necessarily mean that we have no intel on it? If we
You have no intel on it.
okay,
Okay.
so we don't know. It could be an industrial. It could be spacefaring, but uncontacted. It could be dudes throwing rocks at each other.
Right. It could be dudes throwing rocks. In fact, more likely, it's probably half dude, half bug, half lizards throwing rocks at each other.
Hell yeah.
So should we wait for us to get to our destination first? Like, it seems like that's probably the safest thing to do instead of me just working on the ship while we're flying. Captain,
What? Yeah. What?
should
You got it.
Oh, we're going to the ship once we get to where we need to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's me, the captain.
That sounds great. You don't have to talk through the chili dog.
Okay, so you continue the next couple days, finishing out the rest of your travel through the drift. You activate the drift engine at the end of your planned route, and it pulls you out of the extra dimensional space that is the drift and plops you down in normal space in a system that is obviously unfamiliar to you. You are very close to so whenever you come out of the drift, you arrive as close as possible to what's called a drift beacon. That is how drift travel works. Drift beacons are places that you go to. There are waypoints in the drift, and using these waypoints, you can get from A to B faster than you could if you were just flying in normal space. So you exit the drift next to one of these drift beacons, and you are in a 9-planet system with a yellow dwarf sun.
All right.
What do you guys want to do? You have just come out of the drift. You're in an unfamiliar territory. There are 9 planets around you and a sun.
Can we do like a general sensor sweep?
Yeah, some sort of a scan. Probe?
It's the scan.
You know what I mean.
Life support and engines no longer glitching? Or
Everything. All
Can I
of
do
these,
detect magic?
When in doubt.
Great idea.
When in doubt.
I cast fire on the darkness. Okay. So, Horatio is going to do a cursory scan of the system planets. You come out of the drift, and you're using your sensors to do a cursory scan of the entire system. You have exited the drift very close to the 6th planet of a 9-planet system. You're looking at your map, and you see that the first 2 planets actually share a single orbit, though one is always on the opposite side of the sun from the other. Both of those seem to be coming back as rocky, hot wastelands.
Same.
The third, the 3rd, 6th, and 8th planets are gas giants, each swirling with a different color of gas. The 4th planet is dotted with petrified forests, and the 5th planet has a multitude of active volcanoes constantly spewing ash into the air. The 7th and 9th planets are both cold and lifeless rocks. The 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th planets are the only ones with moons which have varied compositions. So you get this kind of very superficial readout of all of the planets in this system.
So
one of them...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, one of them sticks out to you. Excuse me. There is only one planet that reveals any signs of life, and that is Negior 6, the planet they are currently closest to.
Is that that's not the gas giant, is it?
Yes, it is. So there is a gas giant planet, which is the closest one to the drift beacon that you have exited at. That is the only planet that is giving you back any signs of life. Everything else is lifeless.
Bring her in for a closer look. I don't know.
Zoom, enhance.
Shit,
So you are now there and in orbit. You can, Horatio, you can perform a computer's check to scan the planet in detail. Now
Okay,
you're
yeah,
closer
that's
to it.
pretty much what I wanted to do.
Okay. You are so good at using the scanning program that you learn every possible piece of information about this planet.
Yeah.
You're so good at Excel that the project kind of does itself.
Okay. Once there, a PC who succeeds at a DC-10 computer's check to scan the planet pinpoints the signs of life on a floating metropolis in the stratosphere, sitting just above the churning clouds of Nejeor 6.
How do you spell that?
It is Nejeor.
Okay.
And then Roman numeral 6. Not 6 like a 6. Roman numeral 6. Let's see. A PC who succeeds at the check by 5 or more also notes that the energy signatures that would normally come from a settlement of that size are weak and erratic. You're looking for things like energy from a power plant, wireless signals, stuff like that, and they seem to be existent, but not at the frequency that you would expect a developed civilization to be at.
This is how all those vid shows always start.
Jimothy goes, I've seen every episode of every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
A PC who succeeds at the check by 10 or more can also tell that the city is millennia old and that age is the cause of much of the decay, as opposed to it having been destroyed by some outside force. So you've done this detailed scan of the planet. You find the area that is filled with all of the life signs that you had seen from a further orbit, and now that you are analyzing the place that all of those people life are, you're seeing a floating city that is hundreds of years old and that is more decayed than it is destroyed.
Hey, Jimothy, it's a weird question, but do you recognize, like, is there anything, like, architecturally familiar or significant about what we're looking at here with this old city, being that you're Eoxian as well?
Jimothy kind of looks at you and he rolls an engineering check for knowledge about... Oh, I can't do it from this one. Duh. To attempt to answer your question, you see him racking his engineering brain. And he says, well, no. Well, actually, the thing I can tell you is that this is not an Eoxian city at all. This is, I'm pretty sure that this is, nobody's ever been here before. This was not one of the systems that was in any of our databases besides a name. So I have no idea what this is, but it's definitely not Eoxian.
Huh. Isn't Pax like a cryptozoologist or something like that? Or he...
Pax? Okay, hold on. A cryptozoologist is someone who studies Bigfoot.
Bigfoot lives there.
Pax is a xenoseeker.
In a way, Pax is both.
In a way, Pax is absolutely both. Pax is a xenoseeker, which means that he is very interested in the fauna of other planets, mostly so that he can fight them.
Okay. Yeah, I just because this is completely, truly, and sincerely alien to me.
Why don't Horatio? Why don't you make a culture check to see if you recognize any of this like construction or anything? So you're looking at the readout of the city, and while it does give you kind of like an estimated 3D model of what it could look like based on the radar, it looks like a city, but it looks like a developed city in that there are some big buildings and clearly a plan for building the city to begin with. You can tell that the city was planned. It has things in certain areas that it works on. It has roads and a grid. However, none of the architectural designs or anything are familiar to you.
Okay, Captain, I would suggest we try to find somewhere where we can safely dock, because we have sustained like actual physical damage to the Spacewave Maiden aside from the systems, and I'd like to take a look at that. So
the two of you start searching over the 3D readout of the city, and you eventually find an appropriate landing pad that seems to be the only place that you could set down a starship. So this is what the city looks like. This guy right here.
oh,
Those white dots are going to be points of interest for later on. But for right now, you guys are concerned with the bottom right. There is what seems like a very large circular green landing pad that is appropriate to land a spaceship on.
Let's land there.
Is there I'm guessing there's no kind of
There's
version of a control tower or somebody to try to ping to make sure that we're not going to get blown up.
There would normally be some version of a space control tower. Clara knows all of the protocol of trying to land a spaceship in both a place that you are supposed to and not supposed to. So you're running through all of the regular hailings of traffic control tower, you're monitoring anything coming out, and you're not getting anything. Eventually you make your way through the clouds, and there is, from the city, no reaction. And you are very easily able to land the Spacewave Maiden on this big green circle that looks like it was once one of many, but is now the only one left. So you guys touch down on the Emerald landing pad outside of this. On the way down, you realize that it is a decrepit city. It looks like it was once a grand city, and it has now fallen far, 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 far into ruin. Is there anything you guys want to do, or do you want to just hop out of the ship?
I guess I just want to note that I'm swapping out my radiation buffer for my jump jets on my refractor suit.
Your little rat armor?
My rat armor, I'm taking off the radiation because I assume we will no longer fight enormous irradiated elephants, and I'd rather have my jetpack.
Not if I have anything to do with it.
I mean, hey, if you
step off the ship, you're
it's funny you mention that, because
it's you know what's crazy is that the Elikoth actually exists on every single planet in the Pack worlds.
They actually say the universe is on the back of a giant Elikoth. That being said, can I do
Elikoth's all the way down, baby?
Now that we're docked, can I do another scanner sweep to check for radiation? Would our ship be able to detect that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Mama got a computer, it's got some games on it.
So you minimize all the games and you do a sensor sweep of the city. Now you're landed on the city, and there's a much more detailed environmental scan that you can do, and you can tell that not only is this place the place that you were getting those readings from, but it is a livable, safe atmosphere for I don't really know what the word for it is. I want to say regular creatures, but that doesn't really seem right.
Incredibly heteronormative.
Yeah, exactly.
Sentient species,
so it is a livable, breathable, sustainable atmosphere for everybody involved with the adventure right now.
Awesome. Oh, one final thing. Did we take a full rest before we got here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you guys scan the surrounding area. You are able to leave the spaceship at your leisure to explore the place that you have landed.
I think we're gonna remove the radiation thing.
Yeah, there is no immediate threat as far as radiation and or environmental hazards. That does not mean that there will not be smaller scale things within the city. So, Jimothy Tibula and Shepard wave you goodbye. Shepard can't really wave, but he waves. He has hands in his little terminal face, and he and Jimothy wave you goodbye. Jimothy, assures Horatio that in the time that he is gone, he will attempt to take a look at the side of the spaceship.
Thanks, kid.
That was the first cool thing you said to him. That was it. That was the one. I guess the Planet Express stairs descend from the side of the spaceship and lead you onto what looks like a gigantic piece of emerald crystal. The PCs touch down on the emerald landing pad, one of a few landing pads that jut out into the clouds in the southeastern corner of the city, but the only one still usable. Like much of the rest of the city, the pad appears to be made of a thick, barely translucent crystal. And a lot of the city is made out of this barely translucent crystal. As you get out, you can see the swirling clouds of the gas giant around you. I'm going to put you guys on a map. Pretend that the ground is green.
Okay.
There was no map for this. This is the official Sunrise Maiden map from Paizo. Of course, we call our ship the Spacewave Maiden because that is a better name.
We're hot.
Because we're hot as fuck. Because Vaporwave is as much of a lifestyle as it is a vibe that you can meet. So the pad that you guys land on is this big green piece of crystal. As you're looking around to the other docking pads, you can see that all of them are either overgrown or destroyed from some outside force or from things growing into it. There is no reception. The majority of the
reception, or there's nobody there.
Oh no, there's nobody there. I'm sorry. You are not received by anybody. There is no docking committee. There's nobody waving their arms saying you can't park that there.
Is there a sign that says I can't park that there?
Yeah. Well, actually, make a perception check.
Sure.
Everybody, please make a perception check to search the immediate area as you get off of the spaceship. And I had to do packs. Packs.
Probably just contemplating his navel, apparently.
You are all stunned as you get off of this. Not stunned, but you are all incredulously interested at your surrounding area. The giant green landing pad has several signs sticking out of the ground pointing you in directions, but the signs are not in a language that you have ever seen or can understand or read in any way. There are arrows that point the same way that the arrows on the ground point, and they point to a building at the end of the docking platforms.
It's weird that nobody's here for me. Have you guys noticed that?
What? I'm sorry.
Usually there's people here that are excited to see me.
Oh no, Pax and I were just talking about how great the green emerald sheen would look and as lycra tights, from when we get into our tag team.
So Pax and then Pax goes, Horatio, watch this, and he pulls up the glamored sword and he changes it into the color of the green crystal. I'm sorry, Captain. What were you saying?
Nothing. Never mind.
As the words...
Captain,
Go ahead.
can I ask you a philosophical question?
I wish you wouldn't.
Which is worse? There being people here, but none of them have heard of you, or there being no people here at all?
There being no people here at all, because then they can't hear about me.
At that exact moment, you see...
Roll initiative.
You see several creatures crawl from underneath the Emerald landing pad.
Fucking fuck.
Hail and well met.
You guys look so friendly.
But have they heard of Zib?
Because they have numbers after their name, I can tell they're super friendly.
As soon as you guys notice that they are there, they do a battle cry, and they are all going to get a surprise round on you because you all failed the perception check. You're sitting
that was
there.
a high perception check.
No, you guys rolled all pretty badly.
I rolled an 18.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Like we're dazzled by like the surroundings of an alien city that we know.
And then you get into an argument with your friend, and then suddenly there are people. Thank you for watching this episode of Dead Sundays. This is the third time that I have tried this. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, follow me on Twitch, and also send this video to someone that you think will like it. Clara247 was played by Beck. Horatio Raj Cruz was played by Ian. Zib Beverage was played by Steph. And Pax Dora was played by me. But usually it's played by Ryan. Thank you, Paizo, for making Starfinder and Pathfinder. Thank you, OBS, for your streaming software. Thank you, DaVinci Resolve, for your video editing. This is the 7th time I've tried to do this, okay? It's Paizo for Starfinder, OBS for streaming, Sirenscape for sounds, Foundry Virtual Tabletop, DaVinci to make the thing, OBS, I probably said that already. Those are the things I use to make the show. Thank you to all of those things. I can't just list them off in my head. It just doesn't work. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week.
When you're coming from the black, you want a place that reminds you of home. You want traditional foods like our Reaxians cadaver digits, fresh fried every cycle, or tacos made the Spathany way, flavored with real asteroid sauce. With quality finding up with a syndicate, but at prices any corporate collar can afford. So after you dock, head over to the Eye. We're open all cycle, every cycle, ready to treat you like family, hive mind, or brood clutch. Spacies, you're gonna like the food you eat from the restaurant that I own.